Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens, dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, thank you very much. Glad you're with us. Greg Bicouvaris. This is Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650 with Ken Johnson out today. Devontae filling in right here as producing. And, of course, this is Sports Scene. We were idle last week, of course, because we had an Admirals hockey game. Don't forget Sports Scene each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Great guest. This is your home for CBS News at the top of the hour. Tell your friends about 1650. Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military, not just yesterday, but every day. Great guest lineup. Featured guest Bruce Cunningham, going to talk about some Baltimore sports. Of course, guest lineup presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Folks, go to the marketplace sponsors 1, 2, 3, 4, browse, shop, and visit on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, where everybody's going for their holiday shopping in one place. You click the image, takes you right to the website. Phone line presented by Spaghetti Eddies with 2 locations. Sponsors this month for me are India Palace, Little Bears, Spaghetti Eddies, Crazy Good Donuts, ice cream, and of course, Inarray. GJBTV.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Highlights, of course, as well. We got testimonials coming up with Soprano, El Gran Maya, Bravo, and Balkan Cuisine. Spaghetti Eddies, don't want to forget that place. 2 great places for pizza, pasta, and subs as well. And of course, we start off too when you talk about a great testimonial, Bravo Pizzeria and Restaurant in Newport News, located at 13144 Jefferson Avenue. Give them a call at 234-4684 up in the Denby section near the car dealership. Great pizza, pasta, subs, wings. You want to go by there, Bravo Pizzeria and Restaurant. Stay tuned for our next guest right here on Sports Scene. We're live right here on News Talk 1650 AM and also online on your computer or phone. Simply go to tunein.com and type in WHKT. Also, archive shows, GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube image. Stay tuned.
Discover what the locals already know. The place for the finest donuts and ice cream in Virginia Beach is Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream. Strawberry, chocolate, and lemon are just some of the icings you can choose from for your donut. Milkshakes, cones, sundaes, you get the picture. Yum! Buy 12 dozen donuts, get the 13th dozen free as part of the Baker's Dozen Club. Get a breakfast sandwich, the best donuts, the finest ice cream in Hampton Roads, and leave with a smile on your face. Coffee and tea is best with a tasty bacon maple donut. Now through January 4th, buy a $25 gift card and receive a half dozen donuts coupon for free. Valid January 5th through March 31st. Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream is open starting at 6 a.m. all day at 2201 Upton Drive in Virginia Beach and Red Mill Walk. Like Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream on Facebook, and for more, log on to crazygooddonuts.com.
The place people look for their holiday light needs are Inarray Holiday Lights. Let the professionals at Inarray decorate the exterior of your home and business without you lifting a hand. Get $100 off a $1,000 purchase. Call 355-5276 and log on to Inarray.com. Light up your home or business this holiday season with Inarray. Call 355-5276 today.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And back live right here for a Sports Scene on News Talk 1650. You know, it is mid-November. Feels like summer outside. What a beautiful fall day in Hampton Roads. And, of course, we're all about football live right here on the radio, News Talk 1650. Right here, 10,000-watt powerhouse in Hampton Roads. Also, TuneIn.com, where every show is virtually national now. Just type in WHKT on TuneIn, and you can hear it. Well, a gentleman that grew up in Hampton Roads, spent a lot of time of his youth here in Hampton Roads. We're talking about Bruce Cunningham. I've known Bruce since 2003. He's also the public address announcer for the Baltimore Ravens, big-time radio and TV in Baltimore as well. Bruce, welcome back to your home.
Oh, it's nice to be home. I was listening to the commercials during a break there. It all sounds so familiar. I miss it.
Oh, very good, very good. Bruce, tell us about your background. You grew up here, and, of course, I know Charlie Hovis was a big part of your life growing up, and sports were as well.
No, actually, yeah. Just like a lot of people that live there, I got there through the military. My father was a career Air Force sergeant and got out of the Air Force at Langley, and I was about 12, and that's where I grew up. I mean, if you want to confuse a military kid, say, where are you from, you know? But I'm pretty happy to claim that area.
Absolutely.
Went to Tabb High School when it first opened. I was on the first football team. We played AAA ball with Hampton and Bethel and all them, and used to get beat pretty good. And went to VCU and kind of fell in the TV business, and that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tabb. You know, their current Virginia football coach, Mike London, went to Tabb for several years, and he went to Bethel, kind of like the two schools you just mentioned right there.
Yeah.
What do you think about London's future? Because right now he's got a losing record, and this is year 5. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better with Miami. Now they got Virginia Tech on the road the last game; they're struggling, but it's you have to win and fill seats up too.
You do, and the thing, see, Mike was my teammate at Tabb. We played for a couple of years together before he transferred to Bethel. And I knew when he got the job, I was talking to him at the time. He was at Richmond, and, they would come up here and play Towson, so we were in communication. And I said to myself, I just hope they let him win. I don't know. He's been recruiting okay, but I don't think he has the same resources that Beamer has. And I don't know that that's ever going to be the case at UVA. You got to decide you want to win. And if you don't, then you got to expect to keep changing coaches a lot. Mike London's a fine coach. He's a fine person, but he hasn't won. And the bottom line is you have to win.
Yeah, and you talk about the seats. They were actually drawing better when Groh and Welsh were there. That's the thing. They're drawing in the 30s. And, the worst thing in TV, that good and well, Bruce, is empty seats.
Yeah. If you're not selling tickets, then it becomes an economic issue in addition to a one-loss issue. But, it's the catch-22. You start winning, you sell tickets. And if you don't win, you don't sell tickets. So, it's pretty simple what you have to do there. And Mike hasn't won. And it sickens me, but he hasn't won. He was a great hire. He was a great choice for them, and he hit the ground running. And he had wasn't he ACC Coach of the Year?
Yeah, he's done very well. He's only had maybe one winning season, though. That's the thing. And
that's the thing. And the decline that began under Welsh and Groh and all that, it continues. And Mike happens to be at the bottom of the hill as this decline's going on. I'd hate to see him get replaced, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, talking to Bruce Cunningham. Bruce, give us up to date what you're doing full-time in radio and TV. I mentioned PA announcer for the Ravens.
Yeah, that's just a side gig. My main gig is I'm the sports director at WBFF TV, which is the Fox affiliate here. Mm-hmm. Been here over 20 years. And then I do some radio for WJZ-FM. They call it 105.7 The Fan. Mm-hmm. So I stay pretty busy.
Talking to Bruce Cunningham right here. And you mentioned Fox, and I do a lot of stage managing work for Fox, and they've really...
That's when I see you.
Yeah, of course. And CBS, too. I'll be up there for the Chargers game. But okay. You talk about... Fox is a network. They really are on the cutting edge, and you talk about how entertainment crosses over with sports. They, I talked to some of their production people. They have really hot shows right now called Gotham on Monday nights, and it's amazing how one entertainment show, Bruce, or one sports show will springboard and you cross promote on all the different platforms. And my goodness, Bruce, how about the platforms today compared to when you and I were growing up with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube? That's a full-time job just keeping up with that.
Yeah, I've been in the TV business, the media business, for 37 years now. And the change that's happened in the last 3 is the biggest change that I've seen in that whole period. Mm-hmm. It never stops now. Twitter's always open, Facebook's always open, and you always have to be mindful of that. I came up the old way where you had all day and you put your 6 o'clock cast together, you put your 11 o'clock class, and then you went home.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. It's completely changed. And getting the NFL is what put Fox on the map.
Sure.
That's when Fox became viable at that point in the long term. And they made a lot of changes that at first were scoffed at, like the Fox box on the screen, and stuff that everybody has now adopted. So they've been pretty revolutionary in their approach. I tell you, though, just to localize a little bit, you talk about coming up and working the Fox games. They send Tom Brenneman up every once in a while.
Sure.
And Tom was born in Norfolk.
Right.
His dad, Marty, was a local sportscaster, and he ended up doing the Squires. And when Al Michaels left the Reds to go network, they hired Marty away from Norfolk, WTAR, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And he went up to Cincinnati, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. Well, when Tom comes to town, I always try to sit with him for at least 10 minutes, and we'll talk a little Virginia Squires.
Yeah, and not to mention, too, Marty is also the voice of the Tides as well, the baseball team that's still in existence today, with the same general manager.
Yeah, I know. Been very stable there, hasn't it?
Yeah, but of course that general manager is now an executive emeritus, Dave Rosenfield. But of course Joe Gregory is the current one. But they've had the same executive there since the '60s. Unbelievable.
I'm glad you mentioned Dave Rosenfield because he is truly one of the giants down there. And I'll tell you something that could be easily missed. But if any of your listeners are fans of The Simpsons, they have an episode called Dancing Homer. Where Homer gets drunk at a game and he starts dancing. They put him on the big screen. He goes to the major leagues. And all. Yeah, are you familiar with that episode?
I think our producer is. Go ahead and chime in if you have to, Devontae.
All right.
Go ahead, Devontae. You familiar with it?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was written by a guy named Ken Levine. And Ken is a comedy writer who wanted to be a baseball announcer. And he spent the 91 season here calling the Orioles with John Miller. So I got to know Ken pretty well. Well, on his way up, Ken did the Tides games for a year or two.
Yes, he did.
And so in Dancing Homer, when Homer gets fired from the major league team, the name on the door, Dave Rosenfeld.
There you go. That is a great nugget right there. Talking to Bruce Cunningham and known Bruce since 2003. My sister now lives up in White Marsh. She does some TV work up there as well. And you talk about how radio and TV is so still relevant today because it seems like radio is becoming hot again because we're living in a in a multifaceted world. We're living in an ADD world where we're time constraints. But radio, you're in your car and it really doesn't affect anything that you're doing because you have to go somewhere. So life is becoming more mobile. We talk about websites, and that seems like that's the future. You remember, Bruce, at any diner you went to in Baltimore or Newport News or Virginia Beach, wherever, 20, 30 years ago, everybody would have a newspaper out. Now you rarely see a newspaper.
There are two people on my street that subscribe to the newspaper, and I'm one of them.
Yes.
The only reason I still do is because I like to sit there and drink my coffee. I was thinking last night when I was driving home, it's funny you mentioned that, just how fundamentally the Internet has changed our lives.
It has.
It's changed every single thing we do. It's stunning to me how completely it's taken over, not just us, but the world.
Right.
So radio, there's apparently technology that can put internet on the radio, and until that's fully developed, I'm gonna reserve judgment. I know that radio has a couple formats with which it's very successful right now, and there are some stations doing very well. The station that I broadcast for is CBS, and between them and Clear Channel, which is now known, I believe, as iHeart, right? They control something like 4,500 radio stations. So I don't know. The industry is going to go where those two companies want to take it. That's just the way I see it.
Absolutely. Talking to Bruce Cunningham, working for the Fox affiliate up in Baltimore. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on the radio. This is Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650. You're home for the Admirals, and they're still here too, Bruce. And CBS News, and of course, right here, Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1.
Hey, I go all the way back to the Gulls.
Oh, there, I know you do. I
tell you what, the voice of the Hampton Gulls is the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide now. Eli Gold did a lot of NASCAR over the years.
Yeah. We've had him on. Yeah. We've had him on Sports Scene. What a really good guy. I want to get a few nuggets for you real quick, and let's go over like about 4 or 5 nuggets. All right, the Orioles and the Nationals. It seems like lately they've always done well during the regular season, but both of them bombed in 2012. They didn't do well in 2014 either, and that's the thing. The hype. This is a big Redskins town right here, and they have their camp now in Richmond, and it's just so much time that hype. It seems like the Ravens are the only ones who are really buttoned up and actually get it done in the postseason. But the Orioles, the Nationals, and the Redskins, and even the Caps, for that matter, are all just wannabes.
Well, the Orioles did win a division series this year. They did advance to the LCS, and they just ran into a smoking hot Kansas City team. So I'll defend them a little bit. The Nats, that team had holes in it, but they're almost there. I really am bullish on the future of the Nationals. And I'll tell you another thing, just to take it into the Norfolk market.
Sure.
With the way the Redskins power into Norfolk and Richmond, I am absolutely shocked that the Nationals allowed the Orioles to get into Norfolk. It would seem like that would have been part of their footprint, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah. Good example right here. And you've talked to him as well. I interviewed Caleb Joseph in the spring for my June TV show. Before the show even aired, Bruce, he was already called up to the Orioles already.
Yeah. It's not a mystery why Dan Duquette Monday night was named the Executive of the Year and Buck was the Manager of the Year last night. Those two worked that roster like a Stradivarius this year. And I would always think when they would be making all these moves, man, if you're a Tides fan, it's got to be really frustrating at times. But they did. They massaged that roster. And when you think about Machado going down, and Weeders going down, and then Davis pulling that bonehead thing, and they're still competitive, that doesn't just happen.
Right.
It happens because you have created a roster that makes it happen. And the job those two did, it was insane. Now, about the Nationals, understand that Matt Williams just won a Manager of the Year as a rookie manager, So the future's pretty bright there. Also, don't forget, Matt Williams played under Buck Showalter in Arizona. The two remain close, and Buck's a big fan, and that should tell you something. We just had a really contentious gubernatorial election here in Maryland. Two candidates nobody really liked. If Buck would have run for governor, they would have elected him. That's how big he is right now.
I'm sure he would. Now, how about Harbaugh? What if he won?
John's fine. I mean, he's frustrated this year. He's still a fundamentally nice guy. He's smiling, greet you and everything, but this year's getting to him. They didn't have any idea this defensive backfield was going to be the way it was.
Yeah, I mean,
they went into the Titans game last Sunday. Listen to this. They had 4 corners ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was on the couch a week before he had been released, and the other 2 were on practice squads. Yeah. And those were your 4 corners as you went into battle. The upside, I suppose, is that they played Cincinnati and Pittsburgh twice. They don't have to worry too much about them, but they still got Cleveland left. Right. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and of course they are. They have a winning record, but so does everybody else. The Browns do, the Bengals do, the Steelers do. And
you know what? I saw something the other night. Everybody's at least 2 games over 500. It's the first time that's happened since 1935.
Well, let's talk about the Ravens a little bit, and let's talk about the old Colts, too, because a lot of old Baltimore Colts fans here, too. And the bridge was Ted Marchibroda, who coached Burt Jones and Lydell Mitchell, but he also coached, Ray Lewis in the beginning of his career, too. How important was that bridge to the Ravens' future?
I think it was vital, and there's even more to that story, Greg. This might just surprise you.
Yeah.
Football Life on NFL Network. Are you familiar with the series?
Yeah, definitely.
The Cleveland 95 episode, I learned so much of that because that was the last year of the Browns before they moved here. Bill Belichick was the head coach, and he had put together a staff and an organization that was incredible. There ended up being something like 5 head coaches on that coaching staff. The quality control coaches, which are the lowest of the low in the NFL, were Eric Mangini and Jim Schwartz. I mean, it was that kind of talent. But Belichick's very abrasive, or he was in those days especially.
Still is.
Art Modell did not think that Belichick could sell the franchise to the city of Baltimore.
Wow.
So he goes after a grandfatherly guy that everybody loved here because they knew they were going to be terrible for a couple of years. And in comes Ted Marchibroda. They made Ted take the staff that Belichick had put together. There was only one opening on the staff, and that was defensive coordinator. So they hired Marvin Lewis off the staff at Pittsburgh. That poll was open because Nick Saban had left to go to LSU.
Right.
That's how crazy this organization was. I mean, it was off the field. It was as solid as it could be. But Belichick was not the man to sell the franchise to the city, and it ended up working because the Ravens own everything around here now.
What opposite personalities when you mention Marchibroda or Saban and Belichick? As we're talking to Bruce Cunningham, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live at 12:24. Bruce is gracious to join us for about another 5 or 6 minutes with his time, his talent, and his treasure. And you talk about the the dynamic personalities. Then you had Billick in here, who I remember all his post-game press conferences, Bruce, always brief look. He says, we'll get to it tomorrow morning. Let me breathe a little bit tonight. We won, we lost. He would keep it brief whether he was at home or on the road. He was a buttoned-up guy, totally focused, a little bit, not as let's say, as intense as Saban was, but he really was buttoned up.
He kind of was, but the other thing about Brian, though, at least from a media standpoint,
sure.
and I like Brian a lot. I like him to this day. I still talk to him.
Yeah.
From a media standpoint, his first job in the NFL was in the 49ers PR department.
Right.
He literally worked public relations for a few years. So Brian was a master at getting information to you. It might not be worth anything, but he'd sure talk to you, and he controlled the message very, very well while he was here. He had to deal with two strong personalities over the years in Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and that sometimes created dissension in his locker room. And then he had zero, roster power because Ozzie Newsome has that control here. But given that, I thought Brian did an excellent job, and I thought you talk about a bridge from the beginnings of the franchise under Marcia Broda and all the losses, delivering it to Harbaugh, where it's become one of the premier franchises in the NFL. I think Brian's a key member of the history of this franchise, and a lot of people around here really miss him. It's a mystery to me why nobody ever hired him.
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to get back into coaching a lot like
he did.
The Steelers' old coach. He's happy at CBS too,
but Brian, he made a run at the Eagles job a couple of years ago, and when they ended up going with Chip Kelly. So Brian clearly wants to still coach, but nobody will hire him. I don't know. It's weird.
Do you think that's it for him and Cowher though?
I think so, and I think he's pretty good on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to nail down that one gig that he does very, very well, and I think he can work for years and years. And plus, I don't know if you've ever been around him. He's a wonderful guy. He's great company, and people like him. There's even been some talk of him maybe entering politics up here. Who knows?
I worked a game with him once, but again, he's not working for Fox anymore either. That was kind of surprising. Fox let him go.
Yeah, it kind of was, but I don't know what they do. That whole Fox thing has been pretty confusing to me this year. They're running out of announcers. They're using an MMA announcer that screwed up so bad they had to fire him.
I know. You're not
the guy we had in here last week, it was from Albany, New York, and nobody seemed to know much about him. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, that was CBS, but that he worked the Notre Dame Navy game too, the week before. But you're exactly right, and the TV thing has really been messed up, Bruce, because you talk about how it's changed with the Thursday night games on CBS and the NFL Network. Some of the Fox games are going to CBS on Sunday, and some of the CBS games are going to Fox. But I'll tell you this: most of the fans I talk to still prefer football at 1 or 4:25. Not many fans have time to go up to an 8:25 or 8:30 game, especially in November and December when it's really cold outside. People still enjoy those 1 and 4:25 games, and I'm sure you enjoy them a lot more too.
Well, there's nothing better than a 1 o'clock game. Getting up on Sunday morning and having some coffee and getting a shower and running to the stadium, it's great.
That's the best thing.
Primetime games don't really benefit anybody except for the NFL, and it's because of primetime prices for commercials. But I tell you something to watch. The 9:30 a.m. game from London, the ratings on that thing went through the roof. And if you think the NFL ignored that for 1 second, you're wrong. So that's going to increase the push for a London team, and that's going to be one of the features of an NFL Sunday is that Sunday morning game. Mark my words on that.
Oh, yeah. And they had 3 games again next year, too. But you're right, that 9:30 in the morning game was a national game. It wasn't regional.
Gangbusters.
Oh, it was excellent.
Huge.
Excellent. All right. Well, so let's talk about the Ravens now. The remaining of the season. At least they've won 2 Super Bowls, Bruce. The Redskins are still just trying to get to the playoffs once in a while.
Yeah, the Redskins are a mess, but it starts from the top down.
Sure.
And I know a lot of your listeners are Redskins fans, and you guys know you got to screw the owner. Mm-hmm. And until that situation changes, you're never going to beat anybody, not on a consistent basis, and certainly not in that division. So I'm going to tell you something, Chip Kelly can coach.
Yes,
anybody that saw that game the other night, the Eagles are real, son. This is not being done with mirrors. Vinny Serrato, the former GM, he's on the radio here. He's a friend of mine, and I talk to Vinny all the time. And Vinny will tell you story after story about Snyder. And, if you want to be eccentric, that's fine. Go be eccentric and enjoy your money. But if you're going to take over a public trust, like the Washington Redskins, and screw them up this royally, then you got to be accountable. He won't wear shorts, Vinny says, because he's afraid people will make fun of his skinny legs.
Mm-hmm. Well,
everybody in the organization has to call him Mister, including the head coach.
We talk about transparent too, Bruce. When we work the network games at the Redskins, we can see right through his big suite, during the, and see all Bernard Shaw and all the elaborate, lavish guests that he's got there, and of course the red spreads. In Baltimore, it's a little bit more private, blue collar. You talk about how one general manager is different. Vinny was right next to him there with the Washington Redskins, but Ozzie seems like to me, especially with this whole Ray Rice debacle, always behind the scenes, very buttoned up, he'll say very little. You wouldn't even know he's in the room half the time. He walks around kind of moody when you see him at games. What's up with Ozzie? What's up with his future? I've asked some other Baltimore reporters that. He never seems happy, but most GMs in 2014 and 2015, they're in social media. He just seems old school. I'm here because I'm here to do football, and that's
well,
it.
Let me ask you something. Who
Sure.
did he play for in college?
He played for Alabama.
Bear Bryant.
Right.
That's where it all starts with Ozzie.
Yep.
He's like Bear reincarnated. He's very good at what he does, and he has the second loudest voice in the organization after the owner. He can keep this job as long as he wants it. There have been rumors over the years that he would leave to become the athletic director at Alabama, which he really would like to do. Yeah, I don't think he would mind going home. But Ozzie's about my age. I'm in my mid-50s, and we are the ones that went through desegregation. When the schools were desegregated, both in Virginia and in Alabama. And Ozzie and I talk about that a lot, about how we kind of lived through this and didn't even realize we were living through it. And Ozzie counted up on his fingers about 11 things that he was the first black kid to have done.
Right.
First black kid in his Little League, first black kid, to go to the library, for whatever it is, and he laughs about that. But there's a social aspect to taking over Alabama, given that, and he wants to tackle that, I think. But for the meantime, he's here, and he's welcome to stay as long as he wants. Owner loves him. His track record's been astonishing. He's probably the best GM in the NFL over the last 15 years. I don't think too many people would argue that.
Right. Well, let's wrap it up with the Ravens' final few games. Of course, I'll see you, of course, at the Chargers game. What a different team they were. They got killed by the Dolphins. You never know. That could be a pivotal game, too, for both those teams, really. When you think about
San Diego. See, people don't realize how tough it is to take a team all the way across the continent and try to win.
Right.
And it's even tougher when you come in West Coast to East Coast. They're kicking it off, 10 o'clock Pacific time?
I know. 1 o'clock.
So I'm not that worried about that game. The one that worries me, they have a bye this week. So the one that worries me is next week. It's next Monday night at the Saints. The Saints are pretty desperate right now, and they can't afford to lose any games. And you know how good they are inside that dome. So that worries me. And the way things are in the AFC North right now, there's no room to stumble, because everybody's winning, and it's going to be a race right to the finish. So,
and you mentioned the Saints.
I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but who knows? And
that seems like it's the Ravens rap. You talk about Harbaugh not being happy. It just seems like the Ravens, Bruce, are a different team on the road. They seem like they didn't start well against the Titans last week. And the Saints, they're very good. Now they got beat by the 49ers at home, but they're tough to lose at home as well. That's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, and traditionally under Harbaugh, they've been very good on the road. The biggest wins they've had have come on the road under him, but this year it's just not happening.
No.
And the one plus that we've seen this year, though, and somebody for all your listeners to keep an eye on, is the rookie middle linebacker, C.J. Mosley. This kid's for real. It looks like he's going to be NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He might be somebody they can build around on defense, because the defense is getting very old. And they got a lot of work to do on that side of the ball. Offensively, you got Flacco, and as long as you have a quarterback in this league, you can put the rest together. You know what I mean?
Yep. Bruce, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. I'm glad we got this and hope we can do it again down the road.
I had a lot of fun. Nice to be on the air at home, that's for sure.
Real gentleman, Bruce. Always good to talk to you.
Man.
Thank you.
See you.
Okay. Bruce Cunningham right there from the Fox affiliate in Baltimore right there, Devontae. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on the radio. News Talk 1650, 1233. Don't forget tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. We'll be back after these messages.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on TuneIn as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1, right here on 1650 AM.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to ipanmanokitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at ipanmano.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All right, back right here in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. Greg Bicouvaris. This is Sports Scene at a convenient hour during the lunch hour, right here at 12:35, right here with Devontae. News Talk 1650 live on the radio. Hope you enjoyed a nice interview with Bruce Cunningham talking about the NFL and Baltimore sports. He grew up here as well. He's the public address announcer for the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL, have won 2 Super Bowls. Let's go to our business spotlight right now. Let's welcome John Herrmann from the brand new Tidewater Seafood in Norfolk. How are you today, John?
Doing great, Greg. Appreciate the opportunity.
Very good, my friend. First of all, tell us how it all got evolving there in Norfolk.
Well, the Jim Casey at Casey Seafood over there in Newport News has been in the crab business for 40 years, and the red crabs and blue crabs have come across his dock. He thought the red crab is an item that people are just finding out about here locally, and maybe the best way to get people to know more about it was to open up a fresh seafood market. So we have a fresh seafood market here where red crab is our specialty. We call ourselves the home of the red crab.
Now, talk about what exactly is red. People love crabs, but what exactly, can you steam them? Can you fry them? Soft shell? What do you do with those crabs?
They're generally, the red crab is an offshore, deep water, cold water crab. It's caught out there in deep water about 2,000 feet, same place where you might catch lobsters.
Nice.
And they're generally steamed or boiled. We steam them here. There's not a soft shell season like there is with the blue crab. Mm-hmm. And they're bigger. There's a lot more meat. They have about twice the yield of a blue crab. And they're really sweet meat.
Well, give us your address and your phone number.
We're at 7483 Tidewater Drive here in Norfolk. The phone number is 233-0101.
Very nice, very nice. And what do you have more than just crabs? You got shrimp, you got fish. Talk about what do you have in stock?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have all the crab products. We have blue crab live. We have a tank with the red crabs live. So if you want to come and take a look at them swimming around in the tank, you can. We also have all the local fresh seafood. For instance, spot, croaker, porgies, rockfish, trout, speckled trout, flounder, black sea bass, mullet, butterfish, everything that they catch here locally we carry.
You have that nice sign out front on Tidewater Drive in Norfolk, very convenient off the interstate, as we're talking to John Herrmann from Tidewater Seafood. Folks, go get your Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday platters there. Talk about those upcoming holiday platters.
Yes, we're going to be providing people for like appetizer platters where we'll have some bacon-wrapped sea scallops and crab balls, and we'll also be providing special seafood cheese balls, which you can use either as a warm-up as a dip or serve them on crackers. We do that every year. That's something that we'll be doing for both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Very nice, very nice. And you talk about your location right there. Really is a convenient location. And talk about the whole seafood business in general, how you work with Casey's. You work hand-in-hand with Casey's Seafood.
Yes, Casey's been around for 40 years, generally packing out the blue crabs. I've been in the wholesale business for 35 years. And with the boats that come in with the fresh product right there in Newport News, we just truck them over here every day.
Yep, absolutely. You talk about the different types of seafood there again. You can find yourself on Facebook as well. Give us your phone number and your address one more time.
It's 7483 Tidewater Drive, and 233-0101.
And open Monday through Saturday, correct?
Monday through Saturday, yes. On the weekends, we're open until 8 o'clock at night as well.
John Herrmann, thank you so much, and we're going to talk to you again next week about more about the Thanksgiving coming up. It'll get closer and closer, but folks, go get your seafood at Tidewater Seafood. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg. Look forward to seeing you.
Very good. All right.
Bye-bye.
There you go. And Devontae, you got to like really good seafood. That's a real, you love the fresh crabs and the shrimp yourself, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do.
All right, folks, I'm going to tell you about some really good places right here. Balkan Cuisine in Newport News. Go by and see Ahmed and the great staff. Really good, excellent restaurant, 13678 Warwick Boulevard. Give them a call at 874-0100. That's 874-0100. They got all types of burek, sarnaka, baklava, great food. They got excellent salmon. I had some a few days ago. That salmon was delicious, made by Ahmed's dad, of course. They got cervaci, which is ground beef, sausages, one of traditional homemade bread with kaimak and diced onions. They've got the meat platter. They got the hamburger. They got the cold appetizer plate. They got great beverages, great desserts. You don't want to miss it, folks. Go by there, open, and see them in Denby and Newport News right now at 13678 Warwick Boulevard. Go by and see Ahmed, his mom, his dad, the great staff, family owned and operated, home cooking the way you want it, fresh food, nothing fancy, just good food, good fun, right there at Balkan Cuisine Restaurant in Newport News. We'll take a short break, come back with our highlights after these messages.
Discover what the locals already know. The place for the finest donuts and ice cream in Virginia Beach is Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream. Strawberry, chocolate, and lemon are just some of the icings you can choose from for your donut. Milkshakes, cones, sundaes, you get the picture. Yum! Buy 12 dozen donuts, get the 13th dozen free as part of the Baker's Dozen Club. Get a breakfast sandwich, the best donuts, the finest ice cream in Hampton Roads, and leave with a smile on your face. Coffee and tea is best with a tasty bacon maple donut. Now through January 4th, buy a $25 gift card and receive a half dozen donuts coupon for free. Valid January 5th through March 31st. Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream is open starting at 6 a.m. all day at 2201 Upton Drive in Virginia Beach and Red Mill Walk. Like Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream on Facebook, and for more, log on to crazygooddonuts.com. The place people look to for their holiday light needs is Inter-Ray Outdoor Lights. Let the professionals at Inter-Ray decorate the exterior of your home and business without you lifting a hand. Get $100 off a $1,000 purchase. Call 355-5276 and log on to interray.com. Light up your home or business this holiday season with Inter-Ray. Call 355-5276 today.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Rack City chick, 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 10, 20s and the 50s chick, rack city 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 chick, 10, 20s and the 50s chick. I'm a muff.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by DJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors page.
And great show so far today. Of course, Bruce Cunningham we've had on from the Baltimore sportscaster talking about the Ravens and, of course, the NFL. John Herrmann talking Tidewater Seafood. We're Devontae, Greg Bicouvaris live on the radio. Don't forget, go to GJBTV.com, hit the YouTube image, and, of course, shop on the Marketplace Sponsors. You hit the YouTube image for archive shows right there on YouTube with the nice pictures we have on there. Shop on the Marketplace Sponsors of GJBTV.com, Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Save the date for the best local sports talk show in the country right here for Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Next Wednesday, we're going to have the Fan Forum. We're going to have different listeners in the studio with me going over the different relevant topics of the sports world. Don't forget our Business Spotlight scene will continue. What Tees Me Off is coming up. Sports Highlights, my TV show on nnpstv.com. Don't forget high school football games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. Encore games from Newport News on Cox Cable 47, 517 and nnpstv.com. Also sports highlights on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. Weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47 and 517. Great guest as always. NFL season. We got the college top four going on, NBA, high school football playoffs, a lot going on. But that college football top four, no matter who you're talking about, just to try to get it right before the end of the year, you're going to have some controversy. Somebody's going to be left out. But still, it's a lot of fun. It's almost like March Madness for the football people. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
Discover what the locals already know. The place for the finest donuts and ice cream in Virginia Beach is Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream. Strawberry, chocolate, and lemon are just some of the icings you can choose from for your donut. Milkshakes, cones, sundaes, you get the picture. Yum! Buy 12 dozen donuts, get the 13th dozen free as part of the Baker's Dozen Club. Get a breakfast sandwich, the best donuts, the finest ice cream in Hampton Roads, and leave with a smile on your face. Coffee and tea is best with a tasty bacon maple donut. Now through January 4th, buy a $25 gift card and receive a half dozen donuts coupon for free. Valid January 5th through March 31st. Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream is open starting at 6 a.m. all day at 2201 Upton Drive in Virginia Beach and Red Mill Walk. Like Crazy Good Donuts and Ice Cream on Facebook, and for more, log on to crazygooddonuts.com.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on TuneIn as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1, right here on 1650 AM. The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their two locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
As we continue right here with Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on the radio. Also, tunein.com. This is Sports Scene. A couple weeks before Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful midweek so far. I want to tell you about Soprano Italian Restaurant in Newport News. They are located at 12588 Warwick Boulevard. Give them a call at 930-2350. Go by and see Moody for great lunch and dinner football specials at Soprano Italian Restaurant. Also, El Gran Maya, featuring the finest in Mexican food and hospitality at the old Luigi's building up in Denby. Great lunch buffet Monday through Friday. Give them a call at 887-0005. El Gran Maya at 15400 Warwick Boulevard in Denby. Taste the flavor today. We'll come back with our next business spotlight after these messages.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on TuneIn as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1 right here on 1650 AM.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Rack City chick, 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 10, 20s and the 50s chick, rack city chick.
All right, back live right here on the radio, News Talk 1650 WHKT. Greg Bicouvaris along with Devontae, live right here on the radio. This is your home for CBS News, the Norfolk Admirals, and of course Sports Scene every Wednesday 12 to 1. Of course, go to gjbtv.com for any radio, TV information you need right there. And also HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, where people are going to. It was a nice billboard in Newport News last week on 64 about it. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit 10 marketplaces, of course, pages, of course, per section. We got 4 of them right now. Marketplace 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's continuing to grow. 10 links per page right there on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. We want to welcome our next guest from Gold SA, Beach SA as well, talking about gold and buying as well. And we're going to talk to Charlie Atkinson. Charlie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us about your business, the name, the website, and the Facebook page, how it all got started.
Okay. Well, so the company is Beach Gold Assay, and we're a gold buyer. We buy gold, silver, platinum. And there's several people that do it, but it's the way that we do it that makes us different. We basically provide a very safe, comfortable, retail-like environment for people to come in and basically look at all of their different items that they have. We'll group them together. We'll make an offer and basically educate through the process and basically make it as comfortable and as fruitful as we possibly can for our customers. We want everybody to leave happy.
Very convenient in Virginia Beach. Talk about your address.
So we're located on 3813 Princess Anne Road, pretty much right across the street from TCC in Virginia Beach. We're in the One Life Fitness shopping center with several other locations, but yeah, it's a very easy place to get to. Intersection of Independence and Princess Anne is the closest.
And of course, the authentic name is Beach Gold Assay. How did you get that name?
Well, Gold Assay is the word assay is actually a play on words. Basically, it's either a verb or a noun. To assay a metal is to actually test its contents and its purity, or an assay office like they used back in California in the days of the gold rush and things like that. Basically was a place that you could take your gold that you would have and have it tested, and it would be paid out in cash. So that's kind of a play on words for our company, Beach Gold Assay, to provide a place for you to bring any gold items, any gold, silver, jewelry, flatware, coins, bullion, anything with precious metals in it for us to evaluate and pay you as much as we possibly can.
Talking to Charlie from Beach Gold Assay right there in Virginia Beach. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us, folks. You want to go there for the holidays or any time. Open pretty much, you're open, what, Monday through Saturday?
Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 Monday through Friday, and 10 to 4 on Saturday.
Very nice website. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, if you go to beachgoldassay.com, you can basically check out everything, the process, the pictures of our store. You can kind of get up to speed of what to expect when you come in. But again, it's a very friendly environment. It's a family-owned business. We basically cater to all walks of Earth, and we just want to make sure that we educate and pay as much as we possibly can for your items. And one thing to note is that condition does not matter. It can be as broken, it can be horrible condition, and it doesn't matter because gold is gold.
Yeah, and people love watching those gold shows on TV. And like when you say assay, kind of like you think of the word assessor a little bit.
Yeah, you could look at it that way. Basically, it's really an evaluation. If you have items that are marked, that's one step of evaluating it a little bit easier. But sometimes they're not marked and they're not basically easily tellable as far as the gold content. And what we can do with that is we test everything right here in front of you, explain the test, and go from there.
And that's pretty much the experience when you walk in. Like you said, friendly, nice atmosphere. Leave us with your phone number and address and any other relevant information.
Okay. The website, again, was beachgoldassay.com. We are at 3813 Princess Anne Road in Virginia Beach, and we can be reached at 227-6767.
Right, and go by there and see Charlie and the great staff over there. Home atmosphere, fill you up right there with all the gold and the buying needs you want right there. They're your place right there, Beach Gold Assay. Also see them on Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Charlie, have a good rest of the week, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, right there, Devontae, who doesn't want a little gold right now? Gold is always good.
Definitely.
They can drop some gold off right here, right now. I will go down there and cash it in, too. Of course, and, this is, of course, Sports Scene. Great shows every week right here at gjbtv.com. Go by and hit the YouTube image for archive shows. Stay tuned. We'll come back with What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by gjbtv.com.
All right, going back to what tees me off right here. What tees me off? Putting away laundry, Devontae. Who wants to put away laundry?
Not me.
Exactly. Neighbors that, listen to this, neighbors that have work done around the house that is too loud, too early in the morning, or too late at night. It's really messed up now because it gets dark at 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
You know those people that get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and start cutting their grass? Really?
And then they wake me up, right?
Yeah. Nobody wants to be bothered on the weekends. The Bible says love thy neighbor, right? Oh, that's not this show right here. That's another show on this station. All right, how about this? People waiting in cars while the other person does all the work at the grocery store or the shopping center running errands. You always see that one or two people waiting in the car with the AC and the heat on, just relaxing while
somebody else does all the work.
Well, does all the work. I mean, how about a help to get those can of beans in the shopping cart,
Right.
Anyway, how about this? The city randomly deciding to do road work in neighborhoods at their convenience on streets, and you can't even get out of your own street.
Right. Especially when they go to the ones that don't even need work.
Yeah. How about this? Leaves going from one yard to another, and people trying to dump their trash right there by your house in the corner. How about dumping in the middle so it wouldn't blow over to your area?
Right. Well, I got one.
How about that?
I got one. All right. How about when somebody calls you, you miss it. You see the missed call, you call them back 30 seconds later, and they don't pick up.
That's true. I know. And then, or people that don't respond to texts right away as well. We still live in a transparent society, folks. So no matter what we're doing, we're all busy. How about this, Devontae? Somebody telling you they're busy. Really? Who isn't busy? You can't use that excuse anymore, folks. We're all busy. With the internet now, the guy was saying we're always checking the internet first. He's right. People are waking up in the middle of the night.
Just to see who tweeted something.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook is not as popular as it used to be, but still, people are waking up in the middle of the night, getting the water, checking online, and then they can't go back to bed, and they're wondering why.
Exactly.
All right, stay tuned. We'll wrap it up after this last break. Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on TuneIn as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1 right here on 1650 AM. The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their two locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
And back live right here on the radio, News Talk 1650, WHKT. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Don't forget to watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com right there on the homepage as well. We'll be back next Wednesday live right here from 12 to 1. Want to thank El Gran Maya right there at 15400 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News. Also want to thank as well Soprano Italian Restaurant in Newport News at 12588 Warwick Boulevard for great pizza, pasta, and subs. Bravo Pizzeria and Restaurant in Newport News at 13144 Jefferson Avenue. Go by and see Eunice and the friendly staff for great pizza, pasta, food specials, football specials. Get those wings, get that pizza at Bravo Pizzeria and Restaurant right there in Denby at 13144 Jefferson Avenue. And go by and see Amir and his great staff at Balkan Cuisine, all the great restaurants. And you hear them, a lot on this and Hampton Roads Online Mall and also gjbtv.com as well. And, of course, the great sponsors that support this radio station, Balkan Cuisine Restaurant at 13678 Warwick Boulevard. I want to thank our great guest, Bruce Cunningham, for enlightening us today about the wonderful world of sports going up in Baltimore. He's the public address announcer for the Ravens, of course. Also want to thank our other business spotlight guest, John Herrmann from Tidewater Seafood in Norfolk, and also want to thank the good people over at Beach Gold SA. Charlie over there talking about buying gold. Always a lot of fun when you talk buying gold. Who doesn't want a little gold right now? Go by and see him at Beach Gold SA in Virginia Beach. For more, log on to gjbtv.com and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. For Devontae, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon, and happy Wednesday.